Kathy, could you bring the hand warmers? Hand warmers. All righty. They're cold. Thought they were still warm, but they're not. All righty. Hello there. I'm Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. I'm looking forward to what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the severities of triggers. Many of you said that I am being triggered, and I just need help in that. What is going on? We're going to talk about the severities of triggers, so you'll know exactly what is happening. And this, it has a tremendous psychological effect. It's affecting your memory. It's affecting where you've been. It affects where you go. It affects who you know, because what your mind does is take you back to the event. It uses all of your sensory in order to do that. Your sensory of sound, your sensory of touch, your sensory of memory, your sensory of smell, sight. A different fragrance can trigger you. A certain sound can trigger you. The way the sun set, a different mood of the day, just different things can trigger you. You can even walk by a place and the whole scenery remind you of a place where some atrocities has happened. And so you find yourself being triggered, or you have been without a trigger for years and all of a sudden you get triggered. You're wondering, what is going on? Why is this happening to me? Why am I having these feelings? Why do I feel uncomfortable? Why do I feel offset? Those are triggers. And triggers take your mind back to the event, where the event feels real, seems real, smells real. And sometimes it brings back some very uncomfortable emotions, because it'll bring back the emotions of what was going on at the time, the way you felt, what it did to you, how it made you feel. All of those things will start coming back to you. Those are triggers. We're going to talk about the severity of these things. What happens when you are triggered? What can you do when you are triggered? What does it mean when you are triggered? Because triggers remind you that healing is still taking place, that you need healing in these areas. And sometimes it takes a trigger to let you know that Father, healing is needed. Father, recovery is needed. Recovery takes time. Healing takes time. When you have been in a situationship for a long time, it's not an immediate deliverance. It's not an immediate escape. An escape from all the emotions that you've been through, all the things that you've been put through, is not an immediate escape from your mind, from your dreams. Especially some of you are left in the same house where different things happen. You're left in the same situation where different things happen. So you have a very uncomfortable situation remaining, even though The person is not there. Hello there, Trina. How are you? The person is no longer there. The person has left. You have escaped or you've been discarded. And if you've been discarded, you know, sometimes you are hoping they come back. You're hoping that the situation change. You're hoping that it will be different. And some narcissists, based on the display of past behavior, when a narcissist is trying to interject another supreme supply, it takes about 6 months minimum to do that. And it could last up to a year to get a new supreme supply. And when you get a supreme supply, they take time, they take investment, they take energy. And so you've noticed that the narcissist is different. They are more hostile. They are more distant. And then when they love bomb, you know, as always, that they want something from you. They want something out of the relationship. And so, but you're noticing they're vacant. They're just not present. It's almost like being ghost. And you can feel and sense another presence. But this presence is different, especially if you have a serial cheater and they cheat on a regular basis. This one is different. They are doing something different. How do you know when the narcissist is trying to get a supreme supply? We're going to do that as another video. We're going to do that as another video because when the narcissist is getting a supreme supply, it's different from just regular cheating because supply take energy, and based on the expectation of the supply, that's the amount of energy they're going to pull from you. And some supply can pull a lot of energy when you're trying to make them a long-term forum. When you want a long-term supply, you have to invest in that supply. You got to win their confidence. You got to make them think that you're concerned about them. And sometimes what you think about in your mind can be triggering. It can be very triggering for you. You are triggering when you're thinking, I can't get anyone else because they are a serial cheater. They are never faithful. And then you get lonely. Your loneliness become a trigger because there was a time when your loneliness was satisfied by the narcissist. And then the distrust come. Then the anger come. Then you're disillusioned by it. Then you start wondering, what could I have done to save the relationship? There's nothing you could have done. You cannot speak for another person. You cannot take responsibility for another person. And when you are triggered, it triggers all of your sensory. It triggers your mind. It triggers your behavior. It triggers the way you treat people. It triggers your ideology concerning people, your perspective of people. A trigger can be very forwarding and very dangerous because a trigger can even set you back in your emotion. It can bring severe depression when a trigger. It can bring severe anger. It can bring severe paranoia. Some triggering makes somebody think they're following me, or he's out there. He's nowhere near you. He's so busy with the other supply, he don't even think to call you. And then when you think about it, it's been months since you've heard from him. Months. You haven't heard from him in months. And he's not intending to call because he done locked that other supply in. That other supply is going. That other supply is doing. That other supply is catering to them. Because the narcissists need to be catered to. They need attention. It is devastating for them when they don't get attention. And it's devastating for the supply when they don't give attention because you've been trained to give the narcissist what he wants. Because giving him what he wants, you think that's going to satisfy him. And it does temporarily, but there comes a place there's no satisfying for them. There's nothing you can do to appease them. There's nothing you can do to satisfy them, especially when they have started cheating again. Because their mind now is in the next supply. What am I going to do to get the next person on board? And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of energy. A serial cheater can house several different relationships at one time. That takes a lot of energy, which works the supply, the current supply, because you are working, you are doing, you are trying to prove, you are cooking, you are taking care of things, you're trying to satisfy, and it's not working. And you can be married and that happen. It does not matter with a serial cheater. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. When they've got in their mind that it won't work, when they've got in their mind they're going to move on, once a narcissist is locked in their mind, they're locked. They're very focus driven on what they want. And when they're focus driven on what they want, it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say. And sometimes you can be so in love. Hello there, Karen. You can be so in love with the narcissist until, hello there, Felicia. Hello there, Felicia. How are you? You can be so in love with the narcissist until they occupy your whole world. They occupy your dreams. Everything you wanted, you leave for them. You wanted to finish school, you stop school. You wanted a career, you still work in your career because of the things that you have to do to take care of your home. And then the narcissists make a demand on your finances. So you continue that, but you don't have the same joy. You don't have the same energy to do it. And I mean, you are doing what you love, but what you love now is different because the energy requirement is different. It's taking everything you got. You are drained. And then finally, the relationship severs. There's a discard, there's an escape. But in your mind, you can't let go of certain things. And then you work and you work, you get a counselor, you get a psychiatrist, you get a life coach, you work through issues, and you move on. And out of the blue, 2 years later, you hear a sound, you smell a cologne, you went to a place, and now you are triggered. Free said, greeting, Destiny Helper. I wonder, how can I recognize a kingdom spouse? I feel ready to date again, but this time I don't want to waste time. I want something serious. Any wisdom to share? Remember what you had. Remember the qualities you had. Remember the traits of a narcissist. Remember the relationship when you meet someone, they drive that relationship quick. It seems like it's euphoric at first. In a relationship that seemed like, this thing seemed like the dream immediately. It seemed like you can't get another person, and then you feel like, how in the world I end up with someone like this? And everything started moving, but everything started falling apart. You start noticing things. Take notice of the relationship. First of all, being a believer, you want a kingdom spouse. A kingdom spouse has to be revealed and led by God. Because if God's going to give you a kingdom spouse, then it got to come from the kingdom. Then all the aspects of the kingdom is what's going to work for you. Check them out, their church time. Check how they act in church. Check what they're doing in church. Not that they go to church. What are they doing in church? Check out their relationship with the pastor. Do they talk about church things? Do they talk about Bible things? Check out where you go. Do they surround themselves with kingdom things? Take your time. Take your time. Because time will bring out the true essence of people. They can only hide for so long, but after a while, time will bring it out. You want to know the true them. Take time to learn them, spend time with them. As you get to know them, you've been with them a few months, start asking questions. Ask questions about where they've been, their relationship, what they believe. Ask questions. She said, testing them in high stress situation. And that's why I said, take the time. Absolutely, Jill. Take the time. Because if you take the time, all of these things are going to come out. You're going to see them when they're uncomfortable. You're going to see them when they're angry. You're going to see them when they're happy. You're going to see them when there may be financial difficulties or financial decisions that they have to make. You're going to see their business acumen. You're going to see all of that. But if you rush the relationship, you will miss that. And when you get a red flag, when something gets your attention, don't act like it didn't. Don't act like it's not there. Pay attention to what needs to be noticed and notice it. And don't feel bad in asking questions, because we've been dating for 3 months, you know. And then the thing is, they're not going to tell you their true credit score. Notice their observation. Notice how they talk about bills. Bring up bill matters. Bring up if they're tithing, giving. Watch how they treat people less than them. When you go to a restaurant, watch how they tip, even with the gratuities. Watch all of that. Watch when they bring the wrong food. They didn't do their order right. Watch their behavior. Did they get angry? Were they just totally embarrassing? That's the way they're going to be in a relationship. Take the time, because if you're in the relationship long enough, high stress areas going to come, business acumen is going to come, all family, notice their family. She said, please watch Andrew. Oh, okay, that is really good. I would take a note of that. I will. Let me see. Let me get that too. Let me see. Yes, ma'am. You are so welcome free. You are so welcome. But I would take my time. How long have you ever been in a narcissist relationship? Thank you, Jill. That was really good. I took a note of that too. Have you ever been in a narcissist relationship? And if you were, how long were you in? And how long has it been since you've come out of it? I'm talking to free. How long have you been in? And how long have you been out of it? Free. Because when you're in a narcissist relationship, experts say if you've been in a relationship for 3 months, it takes a 2-year vineyard of recovery, healing, to a psychiatrist, a therapist, a counselor, a life coach, in order to get your footing back. That is how intense this relationship is. She said, I had a 4-year relationship with the same narc, separated by 3 years of no contact. I was ghosted after the first one. She said, and it's been a year of me healing since our end. Okay. Are you in some kind of therapy? Do you have a life coach? 2 4-year relationship. Oh, okay. You had 2 4-year relationship with the same narcissist. 8 years totally? Separated by 3 years of no contact. She said, and I was ghosted for the first one. And it's been a year. So that's 8 years. Whoa. Yeah, I would. Are you getting, so you are getting counseling? Is that a yes, free? You are getting counseling or therapy? So if you're saying yes to that, give me another yes, free. Give me another yes. Because that is good. I would definitely stay with me. She said, I am. I'm also constantly watching videos from life coaches on here. Good job. Including yourself. Good job. Excellent. I would definitely take my time in going back into the arena. It doesn't mean that it's closed, but 8 years with a narcissist, you can have a lot of triggering effect. I would make sure that I walk through recovery measures. I will make sure that obviously you got a good therapist or a good counselor. And I would talk to them about, your desire to date again. I would talk to them that I want to go back into dating, in the dating arena, because if you have not demagnetized, you're going to draw what you have, and you don't want to draw another narcissist. Every narcissist that you draw in your life is worse than the one that left your life, or the one you left. So you definitely want to take time. Always hem in on things that put an alarm in your heart, put an alarm in your mind, things that you question. Don't excuse them. Don't excuse them, no matter how you like being with them, no matter how good it feels being with them. Never excuse an alarm. She said, yes, exactly. She said, I need to curb my excitement every time I meet a man I like. Wishing to lavish attention is my way. But I constantly slow down and stop that now. Absolutely. Because you would, and remember, when love bombing stage, that is the stage you have to remember. Because when you are with the narcissist, it's the love bombing stage. I mean, and it triggers all the excitement, all of the glamour and grandeur, and you think they're so perfect. And the thing is, they have a spirit of persuasion. So once you lock in or get an interest, it's not always easy to pull back from it. So you have to slow down. Greetings, Prophet Danielle. How are you, Danielle? You have to make sure you are attentive. Make sure you know your moments. Make sure you understand where you are. And when something doesn't feel right and everything seems right, but it doesn't feel right, take notice of that. Don't take the feelings. Take something higher than feelings, because feelings can change. You are happy, you're laughing, and you drop something on your feet and it hurts. All of a sudden your feelings have changed from happiness to pain. Your feeling can change, but your perception and your knowing and those red flags and those alarms, they're talking beyond emotions. They're telling you what you are headed to, what you can expect. And I would not take anything for granted. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take anything for granted. I would know that I need to be very careful. And especially when that was 8 years. You stayed in it for 8 years. She said, yes. Very true and wise. Look out for the reoccurring. Had gut feelings. See? You have to listen to that. And you got to remember, they are experts in getting you to love them. They are experts. They will show you all the attention you want. They will show you attention like nobody ever have. They will sit and listen to you like a psychiatrist, like a paid psychiatrist. A paid psychiatrist is going to give you ultimate attention because they know what they're charging you by the hour. And they want you to stay. Interesting. They want you to stay. Because when you're being paid by the hour, you don't want healing too fast, right? So what you have to do is take notice to the relationship. Spend time in the relationship. When they take you out, have you noticed how gentlemen they are, or how they pay for your meals? Don't just take the first few ones. Go out on a constant basis. And then see, do you go from him paying for the meal to you paying for the meal? You can volunteer to pay. But when it's a requirement, when they're asking you, why would you take me out and ask me to pay for the meal? Oh, I don't have gas, but I want to come see you. Those are alerts. Because you're now getting ready to get into a financial deficit. Because what you start off is what you're going to have to continue. Then you be like, then we can go on a date another time. We can go on a date when you get some gas. But bro, if you can't get gas, you may not be in my league. Because if we got a gas issue, then we got a money issue. Free said, right? Hold your walls up. Absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing that narcissists have a problem with is strength. They break down strength. There is a movie uh, called Kiss the Girls. It's an old movie. And what is the man that played God, the black guy? Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is playing in this movie. This is a movie that you really need to see because she said, we can go on a date when you get some gas. I know that's right. Absolutely, Trina. And see, Morgan Freeman, in this movie, it was a young man. And what the young man did, Morgan Freeman, right? And what the young man did was he looked for only gifted, strong, intelligent women. Only gifted, strong, intelligent, and very pronounced, prolific, financially wealthy. But these were the power pack. These were the elites. And he was suave. He was the debonair. But he had been mistreated by his narcissist mom. Yeah, that movie was good. It was, Trina. And it's still good, even though it's an old movie. It shows you how the narcissists work. So what he did was he was debonair to all of the women that he dated. I mean, he wined them and dined them. He was the perfect man. And he was so handsome. He was good looking. So they thought they had a prize, but he was a pure narc. And all of those women, because they was descriptive of his narcissist mom, he made them pay. Once they fell in love with him, he trapped them into a cave. He locked them up, and he made them pay for everything his mom did. And he would mock them because they was gifted. He mocked them because they was elite. He couldn't get his mom. So, excuse me, he got them. And one day, Morgan Freeman and they found out what he was doing and they caused the women to escape. But this particular narcissist was a greater narcissist, very successful, very business-minded, among the elite, was in leadership, control. So he can get access to these elite women. His whole goal, the movie, the statement in the movie that depict the movie was, I'm going to break you down. So when a narcissist get entitled strength from a person, their goal is to break them down. Their goal is to take their strength away from them because they can't handle your strength. Your strength competes against their person. And they don't want your strength to compete against their person. They have not been designed to handle your strength. So what they do with your strength is they break down your strength and they take and forward your weakness. They enhance your weakness because in order to get control, I don't need for you to be strong. In order to get control, I need for you to be broken and weak. I need you to feel that I am a tremendous access that is not worth losing. I'm an investment. So the narcissists present themselves as an investment. They present themselves as an access. And to lose them, you feel like you're going to lose. You feel like you can't get it anymore. So you start putting more and more and more into this relationship. And then when it doesn't work because you can't satisfy them, it's more and more and more in this relationship. First, it took all of your time. Now it's taking all of your dreams. Now it's taking all of your energy. Now it's taking all of your finance. Then it takes all your friends. Then it could even take your job because they need to lock you. Based on the severity of the control element, they may even take their career. They don't want you to have a career. I need you to totally depend on me. And when you totally depend on him, he controls everything. You go from riches to rags because you get nothing. Because without anything, you can't go anywhere. Without anything, you can't do anything. You're isolated. He make your family think something wrong with you. Then he make you think something is wrong with your family. Then he almost dare you to be with your family, because he said your family don't like him. He feel uncomfortable being around the family. And if you prefer the family more than him, then you love the family more than him, then it's going to affect your relationship. So what you're trying to do is make sure you're not around the family. All of that is an isolation ploy to get you by yourself, to get you under control element. Because when you by yourself and nobody's speaking into you but the predator, you soon take on the ways of the predator. You soon take on the mind of the predator and take your good looks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when you got a somatic. When you got a somatic and they caught up in imagery, oh, your imagery has to fail. Your looks has to fail. And if you're with a narcissist, it's going to start to show up, because you start to get that distant, far away look in your eyes, like you're not there. If you look at pictures, if you've been with a narcissist for a year or some years, go back and look at those pictures. And then when you get away from them, look at those pictures. You look drained, old, distance, far away look in your eyes, that dullness with your eyes. And then when you, thank you, Danielle, and then when you come back online, Cluster B Free said narcs are jealous of a person's strength. They systematically pick a person apart, destroy a little more each day. Absolutely. Because they can't have your strength. You see what I mean? The narcissists don't want you to have your strength. Your strength will wake you up. Your strength will empower you. Your strength will bring you to your senses, and they can't handle you being in your right mind. Andrew Bustamante, is that what it's called? Is called Everyday Spy, with a podcast by the same name. Okay, I am going to get that. Thank you, Jill. Get that. Let me put that back up. Let me get that. There you go. Thank you, Jill. I think Karen was talking about that young man too. She said, been subscribed for years. Thank you for helping me through my journey. Jill, you are so welcome, and thank you for the information you just gave me. I'm going to definitely check it out. Maybe next time we'll have a conversation piece. She said, once you were beautiful and vibrant, and then you look haggard. You know what? Because all your energy is gone. There's no hope for continuing. She said the title of the specific show is What I Gave You. Okay, let me get that too so I can have all of that information. That's a good title, because that's exactly what the narcissists think. I gave you everything, and you gave nothing. Everything was a one-way street. We never went on a freeway that did not go both ways. Every freeway, every highway, every street, every road was a one-way, and only one car can get on that road going one way. One way. They would never be on a street where each one is meeting each other. Mutuality. There is no mutuality. No such thing. It's all about the narcissist. And if you've been in a relationship over 3 months, 6 months, she was in there 4 years with the same narcissist. 8 years. Karen on here was 33 years. It will baffle your mind. How in the world can you take 33 years? How? Easy. Acclimate. When you acclimate to the environment, when you acclimate to the narcissist, you got to remember, all narcissists are professional trainers. There is not a narcissist that does not train. All narcissists are professional trainers, because in order for you to go my way, you come with a will, but I need to break your will. And when I break your will, I'm going to break your propensity to self-activate. I don't want you to self-activate. I don't want you to self-motivate. Everything that is done is because of me. I need you to be motivated by me. I need you to be activated by me. And all of your service cater to me. All of your mind think about me. And you go from being human to a God. They want to be a God. Why? Because I must be worshiped. The narcissist cannot have competitive attention, not even with the children. That's why some kids are miserable. And Jill said, love you, tired, sweet dreams. You are the best, and love your daughter so much. God bless you. Thank you so much, Jill. I appreciate you. Thank you for the information. I'm definitely going to look it up, and I'm excited about looking it up. So think about this. You can't be with a narcissist. You know, even Karen on here, Karen, 33 years, you still have to watch certain triggers. There are certain triggers that you've got beyond, but 33 years, there's certain triggers that haven't even hit yet. The situation haven't arose yet. And when it do, you, after being free for so long and being in recovery for so long, you'll recognize, oh, I've been triggered. Initially, you won't know you're being triggered. You just know you got these emotions. You're angry. You're sad. You're depressed. Where did this come from? A certain smell, a certain sound, a certain clothing, a certain place, certain people, certain sound of a voice, a hairstyle, a car. You'll be amazed when you've been trained by a narcissist leader what would trigger you. Because the narcissists, they will wear the same cologne to get you patterned to that smell. They will say the same thing to get you patterned to that verbiage. They will use their voice in a certain way to get you used to the sound. They will put you in an environment, and he will do certain things to get you to cater to consistency. The one thing the narcissists practice is consistency when training your mind. They don't do consistency in relationship. They do consistency in training your mind. How to cater to them. They cater and then they complain. The only way you can trauma bond is to put you through trauma and bond you with that trauma. That's how you stayed a long time. You cannot stay without trauma bonding. That trauma bonding is like a Stockholm syndrome. He make you think that I'm going to kill you, and then you think it's for your good, and you fall in love with your killer. Why? Because in the midst of all of those threats, they start treating you right. And they're not treating you right. They start making you feel good. The narcissist brainwash and groom and conditioning a person to serve him or her only and primary. They will start an argument just to get all of a person's time and attention. Oh, that's good. And that is true. Because attention is attention. It's like a kid that wants to get some attention. You don't show them, so they burn up a room. There's consequences for burning up a room. There's expenses for correcting the burn. But you're going to get disciplined. Yeah, but you know what? He's the only one you're paying attention to. She's the only one you're paying attention to. And the narcissist can do some dumb things to get attention. You have a birthday party, it's your birthday, but the narcissist see you getting all the attention, and all of a sudden they come in and they wish you a happy birthday, and then they start talking about your birthday and the whole subject, and from your birthday to them. Now, everybody's paying attention to the narcissist. They're listening to the narcissist as the narcissist talk about himself. When you are triggered, there's still some healing that needs to go on. There's still some recovery. And don't feel bad about it. But when you've been in a relationship for 10, 20, 30, we have past using it for 46 years. And I know people been in for 60, 75 years. They met as young teenagers and they're in their 80s. And when she's 81, he leaves. And they've been in a marriage for 70 years. They've been in a marriage for 60 years. How do a 90-year-old man think he can get a younger woman? He used all his resources to pull him in. And the older a narcissist gets, the more settled in their ways they are. And in order to win and prevail, that takes some spiritual readiness, spiritual mindedness, in order to overcome and overthrow the natural. And then it takes a higher spirit plane to overthrow another level of spirit. A malevolent spirit cannot be overthrown by another malevolent spirit. It has to be a righteous spirit. Light conquers darkness because it removes it. When you turn on the lights, the darkness leaves. You have to turn on the light of your mind, the light of your emotions. You have to go into restoration till the life in your face come back. Your features come back. When you see yourself and you see the life done left out of you, you are 40 years old and you look like you're 60. You act like you're 60. You've lost your dream. You lost your goal. Even if you're working, you are now just going to a job. Kathy. I need my charger. I'm on low battery. Could you call Gabriel? Because I think he took it upstairs. You see what I mean? You cannot prevail at the level of attack. You cannot prevail at the level of experience. It's for you to go through. You have to go beyond the experience. You have to go beyond the attack. That means you have to grow yourself beyond the activity of what's going on.
For what?
iPad. You have to. Triggers are going to happen. Triggers are going to be there. But you don't have to stay in a trigger. You can go beyond a trigger. And you can recognize what's happening, put information in you, put awareness in you. So when things happen, she's a narc can express, are experts at triggers. She said they even trigger a victim to be sensitive to their own narc trigger. So you won't injure them and thus remain under their control. So sinister, but that is so true. Hold on, guys. I need to put my charger in here. So I'm just moving around a little bit to get it in here to charge. There you go. Good job. See? And I like what she said. Narcs are experts at triggering. She said they even trigger a victim to be sensitive to their own trigger. And this keeps them in control. This keeps you in bondage. And you know what they do? They cycle triggers. Triggers, they will cycle them. They will take and use them for their benefit. They will keep them going. So whatever you pattern, you continue. She's an agent narcissist, are petty, quick to argue, seek revenge for the slightest narcissist injury. She said they want everything to be about them. Silent treatments happen to train a target's behavior. Oh, that's really good. Y'all bringing some good stuff today. Absolutely. That's why trigger works. Triggers is effective. Like Danielle said, they trigger you to be sensitive to the trigger and use the trigger to control what they do. And then you don't even look at them. You start looking at you. You start finding out what's wrong with you. You start feeling guilty. You start feeling I need to do this for them. I need to serve them. Those are things that trigger your guilt. You can't be guilt oriented when you operate with them, because it's going to always, always, always work against you. It's going to always work against you. Triggers are not fun. Triggers are not fun. She said the narcissists understand that triggers will both ways. That's why they're narcs. And guess what? They done had a lot of experience to bring you to the inner conclusion that you are about nothing. Because their grandiosity is so huge that it makes you feel so small. And when they have had practice over the years with your emotions, they continue the cycle. She said, and narcs use it to their benefit and to their demise. And to your demise, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you got to remember, devaluation is part of the scheme. Devaluation is in the program. It's integrated into the program. If you are not devalued, the program is ineffective. So it is integrated into the program to bring your emotions to a slighted view of yourself and a higher view of them. They can't master the relationship. It's a situationship, not a relationship. They can't master the situationship if you are on top. Because the narcissist can never be second. They will always be the first. Even if there's no evidence of nothing they're saying. There is no evidence to prove what they're saying is true. Then you know what the narcissist does? They convince you and gaslight you of the lie. If you are in the room with a narcissist for 3 days and the narcissist told you you can speak another language for 3 days, 24 hours a day, after a while you start thinking, I can speak another language. And you start trying to speak a language you've never learned. You don't know what you're talking about. But you're so convinced that what they're saying is right because that's all you're hearing. That's why they isolate. She said near the end of the marriage, the narcissist knew he lost control. He tried triggers and then a weak love bomb attempt. So you know what they let you know? All along, the narcissist see your change from the beginning of the situationship to the progression of the situationship. The narcissists know when you've had enough. They are very perceptive. They know when it has come to an end. Like she said, he did a weak love bomb and nothing worked. And I did a video. Please go look at the video, When the Supply Has Had Enough. When the supply has had enough, go look at that video. When you've had enough, you don't need counseling. You don't need consult. You don't need nothing. You will make a decision, and you will do the decision you make. It will not only be a cognizant action, it will be a behavioral mode. You will put to work and you will put feet to your choice when you've had enough. We have talked about triggers. We've talked about contextual characteristics. We have talked about responsibilities. We've talked about the mind of the narcissist to integrate against your mind, to dismiss your mind, to integrate their mind because they got to have control. We've even talked about sovereignty in their thinking and worship in your thinking, but you don't call it worship. You call it serving. You call it loving. But when you look at that relationship, it has everything. It has all of your energy. It even takes from the children. It took from your family, took from your dream. It took from your job. Everything was synergistic around them. And so now You are left feeling like a shell, a dull look, a dull mind, fog. The body keeps score. All kind of ailments from all of that cortisol rushing through your body. You don't know what dopamine is. And so you now are a shell walking, wanting to recover. You can recover with investment. A good therapist, a good counselor, a good psychiatrist, and a good life coach. These components are additives to your delivery, to your recovery, to your healing. Please interject them or interject one. Interject what will cause you to heal. Thank you, Danielle. In these 10 minutes, let's talk about your healing proponent. If you have escaped or you've been discarded, everything's in shambles, even you, from the inside. The loneliness is triggering. The craving for the narcissist is triggering. This is why we say we need good counselors, good therapists, so we can get good help. She said, I became a gray rock method, using a person like a boss. Cut off supply, no emotional reaction, energy, or interest in any ideas he tried. He tried acting out more. I refused to react. You know why? Because when the supply has had enough, nothing works. When the supply is done, they're done. But you have to wait for the supply. You have to wait for the supply to be done. You have to wait for the supply to be finished. See, one thing about the supply, they went through the experience. It was an everyday action. It was living it every millisecond, every hour, every week, every month, every year. They lived it. So when people denied what they went through, they lived it. They walked it. They heard it. They felt it. They experienced it. Nobody can take that away. That's why when I did the video, when the suppliers had enough, it's over. When the supply is done, the supply is done. If you have any questions and you want to write me at destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. destinyhelper12s@gmail.com. If you have any questions, feel free to write me and present those questions. Present your address, and I will make sure, hello there, Jesus Girl Betty, I will make sure that I write you back. Jesus Girl Betty, go back and listen to the replay. I think this will be a blessing from you. And Jesus Girl Betty, I would love to hear from you. Join me on Clubhouse every Tuesday, 7:45 Pacific Standard Time, 9:45 Eastern Time, and 10:45 Central Time. Make sure you write me with any question you have. I really appreciate you spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. God bless you. I'm Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper. God bless.